So for tonight's homework, our objective is to convert two fractions to fractions with the same denominator. So remember, the denominator is our bottom number in a fraction, and then add them together. So that's the two-step process. So if one denominator is a multiple of the other, meaning that it can go inside of the other denominator evenly, then you only need to convert one of the fractions. So we'll dive into this a little further as we go on. So let's start with number one. I see that we have 2/5 plus 1/7. Now I know that I can only add my fractions together if they have like denominators, and I see that 5 and 7 are not the same number. So the way that I figure out, or the way that I make them have the same denominator, is actually by finding a common multiple. And one quick way to do that is just by multiplying them together. 5 times 7. As we can see, 5 times 7 gives us 35. That's over here. Now, here's the important step. I have to do to the denominator whatever I do, or I have to do to the numerator whatever I do to the denominator. So for example, I'm seeing that I have to multiply on this side, this fraction, I have to multiply the 5 times 7 to make 35. Well, I know I'm multiplying the 5 times 7 down here. I know I have to do the same to the top fraction, so the top number on the fraction, which is 2. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 7. Let me see, 2 times 7 equals 14. So I'm going to put that over here. That's going to be our first fraction, 14/35. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the denominator on the other side. Well, I'm seeing that I multiplied the 7 down here times 5 to make 35. Again, whatever I do to the denominator, I also do to the numerator. So I'm seeing 7 times 5, so now I'm multiplying 1 times 5. 1 times 5, well, that's 5. So that's going to be 5/35. Well, if you recall, we keep the denominator the same and we're adding fractions together. So all I need to do now, this is the easiest step, is add our numerators, our top numbers. So 14 plus 5 is 19. So our final answer is 19/35. Let's try number 2. So we'll try number 3. This particular problem is actually a minus problem, and I see that we have 3/4 minus 3/10. Well, before I can do any subtracting, I notice that our denominators, the 3/10 and 3/4, they're not the same. So again, we have to find a common number that both 4 and 10 go into. So for this purpose, we pick the number 40, and again, it's just multiplying our denominators together. 4 times 10 equals 40. Well, I know that I'm multiplying 4 times 10 on this side. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, or our numerator. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 10 as well. 3 times 10, well, that equals 30. So I've taken care of this first fraction. Now I'm going to go over to the second fraction. Well, I know I multiplied 10 times, let's see, 4. So it was 10 times 4 gave me 40. Again, whatever I do to the denominator, I also do to the numerator. So I'm going to do that up here. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So I have 12/40. Again, we keep the denominators the same, so I'm going to keep 40 down at the bottom. So now it's as simple as 30 minus 12. Let's see, 30 minus 12. Well, that gives me 18. So our answer is 18/40. Whoop. Okay, so as we're going down, we notice that there's a few of these that are not done for us as far as coming up with denominators. So we're going to do the same thing, except we just have to figure out what the denominator is this time. So I'm noticing 4/7 plus 1/6. There's the immediate problem. Our denominators are not the same, so I'm going to multiply our denominators together. Well, 7 times 6, that gives me 42. So I know our denominators are going to be 42, 42, and 42. Remember, because our denominators are always the same. Okay, well I know on this side of, or this fraction over here, I'm multiplying 7. Whoop, that's not a 6. I'm gonna undo that guy. 7 times 6 is what gave me 42. Now if you remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. So 4 times 6, let's see, 4 times 6, well that gives me 24. Going to this side of the equation, I know I multiplied 6 times 7. Whatever I do to the denominator or the bottom number, I do to the top. So I'm also multiplying this 1 up here times 7. 1 times 7, that gives me, boop, 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 7. Our denominators stay the same, so now all I have to do is add up our numerators. 24 plus 7, that gives us 31. Okay, so that's basically how you do those types of problems. If you have any questions, again, feel free to email or call me. And yep, have a great rest of your day.